All right, Honors 11 for Tuesday, April 21st. So our previous assignment was to revise anything I asked you to in your Arbe essay. And then just ask me maybe two questions about the text that maybe you didn't understand. Okay, I'm still waiting on a lot of those. So for the most part, the ones I read were pretty good. And again, we're pretty much going to do the same thing here till the end of the school year. I'm going to give you a story. You're going to read it. You're going to choose one of these focus foci that I provide, and write me an essay. Okay, so the assignment for this week is going to be to read Evelyn. I believe it's the fourth story in the collection. Again, we're not going to do them all. We're just going to do four of them. Okay, so this Evelyn. The previous story was in the what's called the childhood section. Okay, this section is referred to as the adolescent section. So even though some of the characters we're going to meet are, Evelyn, I believe, is 19. We're going to meet a couple of characters in the next story who are in their 20s and 30s. And it's referred to as the adolescent section because these people aren't really mature yet. And historically, Dubliners had a rough time at the turn of the last century. And even men with a decent job would take them to their mid 30s to kind of get settled and be sufficient enough to take care of themselves and maybe a wife and a family. So just to give you a little heads up there on how this book is kind of split up. Okay. All right, so our focus for this reading, or that you have to choose from, again, you're just going to choose one, so you might want to do it before you read, or maybe do it before you read it again. Again, these stories are all pretty short. You should be able to read them in about 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, but if you want to choose one before, that'll save you a little time. Okay, so the foci you have to choose from for this reading, is the character changed or unchanged? Okay, this is definitely going to be a good story for that foci. Okay, I'll just tell you right now. And it's kind of hard to tell if Evelyn is changed or unchanged. So argue that. Show me one way or the other. Okay. The other one you have to choose from is relationships between characters. So Evelyn is going to have, her father and a couple of younger siblings that she lives with, and then also her relationship with her boyfriend, Frank, I believe his name is. Okay. So symbols, again, man, Joyce is very dense and symbolic, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds there. But if you're seeing something, explore it. See what you think it means. Okay, so, maybe her house, her neighborhood, the ship, things that are hanging on the wall, things in the house. I don't know. Like I said, that one might be a little tough just because I'm not there to kind of guide you through it. All right, so setting also kind of similar to our young boy from Arbe. Again, we have to assume, Evelyn lives in a working class neighborhood, and the first part of the story kind of sets that up again. So maybe compare that to, what ultimately she could choose to do in the story, and that'll make sense after you read it. So again, that would be maybe another easy one to focus on. Okay, so how do these things affect the outcome of the story is what you're kind of arguing. All right, so your assignment is to read Evelyn, choose one of those foci, try to find 2 or 3 quotes from the story that relate to that, and then what I need you to do is just send me a thesis statement that kind of sets up your argument. So make sure it includes, some wording that addresses one of the foci, and hopefully it argues something. So again, we're just going to eventually do a thesis and go, but that's the assignment that I'll give you tomorrow. Okay, so again, we're just reading, picking a foci, finding some quotes, and coming up with a thesis statement that argues. Okay, one thing I want to try to avoid with this story is not using the epiphany quote. Almost everyone that turned in an essay used that last line from the previous story. So they're great quotes to use, but they're kind of too easy. All right. So, and in this one, there might be multiple kind of epiphanies. It's not maybe just one. There's kind of a build up to a bigger epiphany. So, just try to avoid that, please, if you can. If you do use it, I'll tell you to find something else. But let's try to avoid that this time around, please. Okay. So again, if you got any questions, quick questions, hey, why is this happening in the story? What does this mean? You can look it up, or send me a quick email and I'll try to answer it the best I can. All right, but we're really just focusing on kind of some of the major kind of themes and issues within the text. Okay, we don't need to get super in the weeds with a bunch of detail and symbolism and stuff. So, but if that helps you, like I said, send me an email. I'll try to answer it the best I can. All right, see you guys.